Hey everyone, welcome back to Two Drink Minimum, a podcast where we tackle various life topics over 2 beers at minimum. We are your hosts. I'm Janet.
And I'm Edwin.
And today we are talking about the importance of exercise and drinking Left Hand Brewing Company's Milk Stout, Nitro Milk Stout. I don't know what order those go in, but...
I think it's just Left Hand Milk Stout Nitro.
Yeah. Because they also have the one that's more, that has the cow print.
Well, they have Left Hand Milk Stout.
Yes.
With no nitro. So, nitro is the one to get, in my opinion. So here we're gonna go.
The nitro one's a bit smoother.
Well, the nitro one has less of a milk taste.
It's like nitro has to do with how it's made, I think, or how it's.
It just has less. I just know it has less of a milk taste. So here we go.
Cheers. Oh, it's nice. Also, we don't.
Man,
I know we don't really do cheers as much.
Well, we just cheered today because many people cheered for me at the Chicago Marathon. So here you go. That's what the medal looks like. That's what the medal sounds like for you podcasters who aren't watching on YouTube. But if you want to see what the Chicago Marathon medal looks like around my neck, then you need to go on our YouTube channel. If you just want to see what it looks like, you can probably just Google image it. But there it is. Ran the marathon this Sunday. And what a perfect time to talk about the importance of exercise, since I exercised a lot.
Yeah. The past Sunday. By the time the podcast episode goes up, it'll be like a good while.
Well, they'll know the date. 10/7/2018. I ran it, and it's been about a week. So we're going to do the exercise podcast today. The importance of exercise seems pretty appropriate given the incredible feat I accomplished.
Congratulations.
This past Sunday.
But as far as the beer, really quick before I jump into our topic, it tastes great, really smooth.
Yeah, I love it. To me, it's like a better Guinness. That's kind of how I would describe it.
Yeah.
If you like Guinness, you're gonna love this. Again, no diss.
It's really rich tasting.
No diss to Guinness. I like Guinness. I do. I'll have one from time to time, but Left Hand Milk Stout, I think they do Guinness better, and it's an American stout, so USA, baby, you know.
Yeah, it tastes really good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fantastic. It's one of the first. I've mentioned before. My first kind of IPA and like craft beer was Anti-Hero by Revolution.
Oh, I forgot to pour it hard. You're supposed to just like dump the
bottle. Yeah, I don't because
in.
usually I fail, so I don't do it. But you can try it for the next one.
Yeah.
But this wasn't my first craft beer, but it was probably like first 5, because it was early in my craft beer, obsession that I found this beer.
I think too
and it's awesome. Yeah,
the tasting notes on the side are really accurate. It's described as super smooth with soft roastiness and mocha notes. I think that's really well said.
It feels like a rich dark chocolate, but not too dark.
The ingredients are Rocky Mountain water. You taste that Rocky Mountain water?
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. Malted barley, lactose, flaked oats, hops, and yeast as usual. But yeah.
Cool. So
employee owned, righteously independent. So there you go. All you need. Beer tastes really good. All right. So jumping into the importance of exercise topic. Starting out with earliest memories of exercise. Edwin, do you want to start with what your earliest moments that you knew exercise was a thing? The first time you heard about it, saw it, did it?
Well, I guess for me, exercise was always through sport. So
I think a lot of people.
The earliest memory was probably like, probably 3 or 4 years old. I remember watching the Bulls win back-to-back championships in my apartment when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I remember thinking, man, Scottie Pippen is really skinny. that was like my first memory of that. I'm like, he is like trim, and like I need to look like that if I want to be an athlete. And I was like 3 or 4 at the time, like I said, which is interesting. But yeah, so that was my earliest memory. Kind of more of a traditional / when I was active. Again, really early. I was always a kid who, my dad was younger, obviously, when I was a child, and he was very active. So I would always go to the park with him and my uncle, and they would do a lot of running and playing soccer and playing basketball, and they were super active. Would go regularly, maybe once or twice a week to the park, and usually I was there with them. And when I was 8 years old, it was probably like an intense summer for me. My uncle went to the gym, went to the McKinley Park, which was our local park, or our park nearby.
At the time?
He went, yeah, it's still not too far now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably about the same distance, actually. He went literally just about every day, and I went with him every day. Summer of '96, every day we'd play basketball, and I'd play in the jungle gyms and run around, and like it was crazy.
Ripped.
Yeah, it was insane, and I loved basketball, I loved sports, so it was awesome. And that's kind of my earliest memory of being active and just kind of not sitting at home doing nothing and stuff.
When do you think? Was it simultaneous, like, understanding exercise as a concept? Because I get that, like, you get, there's a sport, and you get, obviously, you play with your body, but, like, the idea that, like, people need to get exercise or go to purposefully, like, work out, like, is that, like, same time, or
it was
that
kind of always,
different?
it was always connected. It was like, I do sports because I like them. I cannot be unfit and try those things. So, kind of, almost a means to an end, you work out to get fit so you can play the sport well.
Did you know of people working out not to play sports?
Not until probably high school, where they're like, there's guys who just want to look swole because they think that'll get the girl and stuff like that. But usually those people also, usually they play football or something, even if they played very badly on a very bad team or something like that. But that's probably the earliest time where I knew some people who just worked out. I mean, technically, you could say my dad was in that situation because he wasn't in an intramural league or anything like that. He was just playing because it was fun and it made him feel good. And he kind of said, you should stay active. So it was either my dad or high school friends that weren't into actual sports. He just wanted to, look good and feel good or what have you. Cool.
For me, I'm not sure when my first memories really are. Obviously, we same family and stuff. As Edwin's my brother, in case it's your first episode or something. But yeah, Dad was always really active. Well, not always really active, but especially when I was like 8, when he started running and stuff too. When I was like 7 or 8, and he got into distance running, like that was a big thing. And before that, like you said, the parks and everything like that. So I guess I knew about exercise pretty early. Probably also through sports, I would say. I know like some early memories too of like our mom was always really big on like wanting to be like thinner and more fit, but she never really got that off the ground, like working out consistently. But she would kind of like go into these attempts of like, oh yeah, I got this DVD, and she had like a lot of like the Jillian Michaels DVDs and things like that. She'd watch like a lot of TV, so she was the person that would be buying like you roll it and you get like fit by those like just random exercise products, or she'd have like random bands and things. So I feel like that was definitely an early memory of seeing someone who wants to work out for like the sake of like looking good, which I think is a lot of people's driving factor to work out. Like they want to lose weight or be just have a certain body. So that's a pretty early memory I have of that. And then in general, just gym class, right? Like you have that as a course. I think it's actually like legally required in every school in the United States at least. And our elementary school only had it like once a week, which was like so unheard of because ours was really janky and weird. But even then, it was like the thing you had to do, and you had like these different activities you were supposed to do. And then in high school, especially, they made it like more intense with like. And did you ever take the PACER test in high school? Did you guys have to do that too?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? It was like really big. At least at my school, maybe some other schools. I don't know why yours maybe never did it. But like it would be a running test, and you would have to like it's like the length of the gym, which is like a basketball court kind of size, and you'd have to like run from. I think you were essentially running suicides. And if not, you were just running back and forth. But the time that you have to get to the other end got shorter and shorter. It was like a battle royale, but of running.
People aren't going to know what...
And, yeah, that's true, probably. But it was like, last man standing kind of thing, situation. Yeah, and actually it did go until there was a winner. And you had, like, a requirement for that, I think, by the state that you need to, like, perform a certain level at that. But for the most part, it wasn't that high. I think everyone like passed it, but it was really like a big competition thing too, because you like, everyone sees you too. You're like, we're all running it together, and then it would be crazy. You'd get to the end, and it'd be going so fast, and then you're like seeing who's gonna last and stuff. And that was like a really big deal, and that's something you can't half-ass that test, because like you have to run or you get booted out of the test. Essentially, you have to just sit on the bleachers or whatever. So, and everyone knows how to run pretty much. So it's like, baseline, like just go as fast as you can. That's different for everyone, but so that was another like really strong memory I have of exercise and working out. But yeah, so I guess now moving into like, why people don't work out, whether it's challenges you run into, excuses that people make, but then while it's ultimately important, I'll kind of start with some things that I've done myself, or I kind of, lean on for like reasons why I don't. Obviously time is a huge one for me too, like which I've explained this to Edwin. He's like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. But for me, it's like figuring out when to work out so that it like fits with the flow of my day, because it doesn't really take a long time to work out. A workout can be as short as like 10 minutes or 30 minutes. It's something I'm really trying to adopt more, because so often it's like, oh, well, if it's not like hardcore, like whatever, what's the point? But anything's better than nothing. So I'm really starting to move more towards like any level of exercise is important and good. But if it is more rigorous, I like to shower afterwards. So kind of figuring out when I'm going to do that, when I'm going to shower, if it's at night, whatever. And then like I get really, like a pet peeve of mine is like when my shower schedule gets thrown off, like if I'm showering in like the middle of the day or at the end of the day, like when it just kind of laps in a weird way and I end up taking 2 showers in one day, like I don't like that. It doesn't feel good. It makes my hair weird. So like figuring that out, like basically how to incorporate working out in my schedule where it makes sense and also doesn't like make me tired or like wake me up really late at night or cut into my sleep and other things like that, is like a common thing I'll lean on for an excuse or a reason or a challenge that I run into. But one thing I think a lot of people think, that I think I was in this camp at one point too, was like like I don't need to work out because like, a lot of times, and that's the problem with like tying it too much to like weight loss or like how you look physically. Like for me, I'm pretty thin. Edwin's also thin. We've been like skinny our whole lives pretty much. We've never been overweight like at all. So like, a lot of people would tell me like, oh, you don't need to work out, or maybe I would even tell myself like, oh, it's fine because like, I'm not overweight. So like, but like working out's not about like losing weight or looking a certain way necessarily. Like you can have those goals, and if you have them, I think that's fine. But when we think too much that it's about like making your body look a certain way, that's like the easiest way to say, well, I don't care how my body looks, or I don't have improvements I want to make, thus I don't need to work out, which is like a horrible way to look at it. And I think that's like the most common one that I see besides like the time thing. What are some maybe excuses that you've either like heard from people or maybe have made yourself or people have imposed on you almost?
Well, I think, listening to you talk right now, an excuses episode might be good. Mm-hmm. Because it always comes down, now I just thought about it, I'm like, it really just comes down to 2 things everyone always says. And they're the 2 things I cannot argue, or it's hard to argue. Time and money. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how your day works, and I can't tell you what to spend your money on. Mm-hmm. So it makes you bulletproof. It's like, I'm running out of time. Are you saying I have the time? And it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not looking at your day. Like, I don't have the money. Are you gonna pay for it? And it's like, well, I mean, no, but I think you should. So it becomes like a sensitive issue on both ends, and that's what a great excuse is, right? It's like, oh,
money's definitely a common for exercise, especially gym memberships.
So money's definitely one I hear a lot. I hear a lot of money. Oh, I don't have the money to go to the gym. I don't have the money to this. I don't have the money to that. And those are the 2 popular ones. You wanted me to focus on what people say or what?
Yeah, like excuses and challenges that you think crop up.
So I'll start with my end, because I don't really, before we, as it's kind of inside baseball, what goes on in the podcast. I don't really have many. Not because I'm the fittest person, but just I'm really honest with myself. And if I'm being garbage, I'll just say it and be like, I'm being trash. But I know it. I don't ever say, I don't ever say money because it's not true. And I don't say time because it's not true. I just choose not to do them or whatever, depending on, the flow I'm on. Obviously, right now, the marathon medal, I've been doing my exercising the way I wanted to, so I've been doing fine, and now, I'll make some readjustments now that goal is done for the time being. So I don't really make those excuses, but I hear them a lot all the time, at least before when, I had a more traditional job and just interacted with people that I couldn't choose who I interacted with back then. So yeah, you would hear a lot of stuff, and yeah, those were the 2 popular arguments. They didn't have the money, they didn't have the time. And they'd always try to make it sound like it wasn't in their way. Other thing I hear a lot, even now, is, especially among creatives, is they are too busy with their work. It's kind of like a time thing, mm-hmm. but they also feel like, they're already working hard there, and when you try to call them out on it, they're being lazy. They're like, oh, well, I'm working so hard on this. After, they'll kind of make it into this magical time. Well, after my album's done, I'll be able to do this. Oh, mm-hmm. in the summer, when school dies down, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
After the holidays, it's too busy now. In the spring, I'll get ready for that. And then, sure enough, I look at them a year later. They don't look no different. They didn't do any of the stuff they did. They didn't do any of the things they were talking about. And it's always I call it cookies in the mouth when it's like administration comes in. So it's like if you ask your boss for a day off, instead of just telling you I can't give it to you, he'll be like, well, we really care about you, but right now your vacation hours are up. So that's just a little inside joke. Hopefully you guys pick up on his cookies in the mouth. So you don't have to be an administrative person to have cookies in your mouth. You can do that in your own life and be like, well, the holidays are coming up and it's really busy, so I don't have the time to do that right now. So I see a lot of that. A lot of excuses about time. It's not the right season for it. And then the obvious one, money, because I can't. It's rude to tell people, hey, no, you're being cheap. Like people, it's offensive and it's a little rude. So I still push back. I won't actually say cheap necessarily unless you're really cheap and you're so cheap that I don't mind saying you're cheap because that's how cheap you are. But overall, I will still word it in a way where I'm like, you need to make the investment, right? You need to stop pushing back on making the investment. But it's something that people use, and they use it because they know that most people, except jerks like me, they're not going to tell you you're being cheap.
Also, actually, one that I want to just jump in with really quick because there's two in my head. One of them I think you might mention, so I'm not going to mention it. But one that I just thought of from being on Twitter is like insecurity / like not feeling you have a safe space to work out in. Like a safe and productive space, because you can work out at home, but a lot of people don't like working out at home, myself included.
Working out at home is a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right now. It's a bad idea.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, I feel like we can break that down later, because it's more, it's also so negative. Like, and some people do work out at home and it's fine. And I think that is an option for you, but we'll talk about why that maybe is harder and, when we get into maybe how we do
I'll
things.
hold back on some people do, and it's fine until later.
Yeah, so, one thing I saw, like, especially, like, women experiencing with working out is, feeling really uncomfortable about it. Just whether it's because maybe you are, you're alone around a lot of other people. And, men can feel this way, too, or people of, other genders can have this experience. But, like, feeling insecure about people looking at you, or also feeling like, you're the least fit person in the gym, or also not knowing how to work out.
The idiot trying to figure out how the bench press works.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing, and you can feel seen, and I've heard plenty of stories from people that I actually know, because I think a lot of times people are like, does that really happen? It's like, yeah, it does. Of men or people coming up to them and trying to explain things to them, or comment on how they're working out, or comment on their body, or things like that, which is really horrible and difficult. So I mean, I think at the end of the day, obviously you still do need to get the workout in, and we can kind of maybe talk about a little bit about like those overcoming those challenges. Obviously some of that's outside your control because you can't control how other people react to you, but just kind of learning how to create affirmations and things that will help you push through that, because I think that's a very real challenge for a lot of people, and I feel like it'd be a big oversight to not mention that. And then also it kind of aligns with like not knowing how to work out, like not really figuring out what works for you, and just feeling frustrated with that. I've read on Twitter from like plenty of, and for some reason it just happens to always be women that are sharing it. I just haven't had men share this, but like women that are like, I try, I keep trying to pick it up, but I can't find a workout that like I like, or that feels like it's doing. I'm so bored, like I just can't, and I think there are like a lot of people that kind of keep working out's kind of that passion project you don't have a passion for, right? To kind of link it back to the other episode that we had, where
that'd be like saying eating's a passion.
It's hard to, yeah, I know, but but it's a lot easier though to cut that out, even though it's so crucial to your life.
For sure. Well,
yeah.
No one's gonna.
So
we'll talk about it.
I just wanted to briefly speak to that, because I think those are very real challenges. Because I feel like right now we were focusing on like people just not doing it at all, but I think a lot of people have like that half-assed execution of it. For a variety of reasons.
Yeah, to me, that's part of not doing it, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm just... I kind of want to, speak to that in between.
The things you mentioned were pretty good, and I didn't think about them, so I'm glad you said them. But are we doing it or are we not? And in life, again, that's why we're doing the podcast. I want to help people, and sometimes that means some tough love through the podcast apps. And are you doing it or not? Are you going to run the marathon or not? Yes or no? That's it. Not, I almost did, but then I got hurt. Or I was going to, but it rained 3 days. Or yes or no. Sometimes there are absolutes. Mm-hmm. And you're either working out and you're trying it, or you're not. And how do I know you're not? Let me tell you right now. If it's been over 2 years and you're not consistently doing 3 days a week, you're not doing it. You're not doing it because you're not going to develop the muscle memory. You're not going to build off the previous weeks. And I'm sure your numbers are going to show that. And then what happens is people end up blaming the exercise. They're like, weights don't work, man. They don't work. I'm like, no, they work. You don't work. That's what doesn't work. You know, so if you're struggling with it, I feel you. I haven't really had that issue before, so because I actually, you know, usually go through with it. But you got to also be honest with yourself, you know? And that's you know, I think adulting is another great episode. You know, and for some reason in this podcast, I'm having great ideas for future ones. But that's why you see so many people as they get older, right? You mentioned the other day, high school people I know are letting themselves go. They're getting fat, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen a bunch of that. Why does that happen? Because, well, your metabolism slows down, right? Your life gets a little more hectic. Hopefully, you have a little bit more money, which means you're eating faster food, which is usually unhealthy compared to whatever your parents were making. And then you're working a lot of hours that are probably sedentary. And then you're not working out like you used to in high school because you were forced to, / you were in soccer schools and soccer teams and basketball teams and just working out 5 days a week. So yeah. And then, you know, now you're probably driving in a car instead of walking long trips to the bus and stuff like that. So as an adult, you need to audit. You're so responsible, and that's why we spend like 20 years to get ready for this moment, and you're still not ready, you know. But you have to be able to say no. I have to hold myself accountable. No one's gonna yell at me except for me that I need to go to work out. No one's gonna care. No one's gonna bother you. It's gonna be
unless
fine.
you like get an accountability
personal
partner.
trainer or something. Yeah,
or an accountability partner for
a lot of accountability partners will let you slide. They're like, oh, you're stressed today. Don't
well, then
go,
they're a shitty accountability partner.
There's a lot of shitty ones. I've seen them.
Well, then get a new one.
Right,
Like,
but then you have to be self-aware of that too. Yeah. You know? So usually what I'm saying is, as an adult, you have to know all those things, and you have to be able to act on those and be honest with yourself. And I think that's people really, really struggle with just realizing, hey, no hard feelings, but I'm not doing it, and I need to work on it, and it's important. It's like literally like a life or death situation that you're kind of
before we talk about kind of like the importance of it too, like do you have any other examples of like excuses or things people bring up or like reasons, right? Like because once again I think some things at the end of the day,
I don't have a car. There isn't one near me. I don't have time to go. It's both of them. It's like all of it. I'm too broke. It's too far, and I don't have the time to go.
One that I want to bring up that you mentioned off camera, but I guess maybe it didn't come to mind again, but I don't need to work out because like my job is physical. Like that's so a different
stupid,
thing.
Man.
Like,
anyone who thinks that, I mean, you're just lying.
I mean,
I don't care if you're a teacher, a factory worker, a freaking construction worker. Like it's not the same. Lifting 20-pound boxes, you know, in a warehouse is not the same as bench pressing 100 pounds purposefully.
Yeah.
And walking, any teacher who thinks, I walk, again. See me at the track, I was smoking, you'll be like, I haven't ran in a while. Yeah, because it's not the same thing. You're being active in your job, and that's better than like sitting in the office all day. But that's not the same as putting on a pair of running sneakers and running for 5 miles. That's not the same thing.
I want to point out with this, especially because like, I'm big, and so is Edwin, even though he might seem like more of an ass than I am or something. But like we're big on like positive framing for things. And the easiest way I can break it down is work, even if it's physical, which is technically, I guess, better for you than like sitting at a desk.
Yeah,
that's like pretty.
You can't really
dispute that's better for your. Actually, you know what? Sometimes you can dispute that's better for your body because here's the thing that I'm gonna say that like I thought of and it made it really clear for me. Working physically tears down your body. It's a wear on your body. Working out is meant to strengthen, replenish, and enhance your body and your abilities. The reason that like it doesn't count to just like have a physical job where I used to bartend and I'd be walking and picking up stuff, and I wasn't actually strong enough to pick up the kegs, so I couldn't do that. But stuff like I'd be moving and doing a lot, and my dad does a lot as a server, and I've always had like my parents have always worked blue collar jobs, or our parents have always worked blue collar jobs. But like when my mom was like picking up straws and putting them into boxes for 12 hours. Yeah, that's hard work. I'm not going to tell her she wasn't working hard. But that one repetitive movement, it's more like she had to strain her body to do that. It wasn't like, this is me like working out. That's not a workout, because like a workout's meant to enhance what you have, and it's meant to be like, and that's why like working out when you weightlift or even an exercise class, usually it's like only like an hour versus your day is 8 hours. So like that's like, it's more like something you have to like do. It's like a challenge, like a physical challenge, but it's not like taking you to that next level. It's just something you have to do.
Also, there's an increase in increments the way a workout would. You're also not pushing your body.
It's the same way that like when you run a race, which I'm sure you can somewhat speak to with your marathon and all that. Running a race like that, just the act of running the race isn't what got you fit. It's the training you do to run the race. So I feel like kind of like, and same applies to any sports. Like when the day of is the workout, but like you prepare to like do like to actually build the strength. You need to be doing workouts.
Like you were surprised when you were looking at some Lakers players on Instagram. They were working out the morning of, and they were heading to the game.
So weird. I did not expect that.
They were heading to the shoot around, which was at 3 p.m. for a 9:30 game. And the reason is they work out in the morning, they shower, then they go and they do a shooter. Like the prep of all that. The game's only 2 hours. They actually put in like a 6-7 hours prior to that, doing other physical activity, whether that was stretching, massaging, weightlifting, more basketball to prepare for the actual basketball. The game was actually just kind of like almost like the test, right?
Yeah.
All the study prep was way more than that test. That game was 2 hours, but they worked their bodies out for like 6 before that for those 2 hours. So it's not just that, yeah.
Yeah. So then, I guess jumping into like the benefits of it, both physically and mentally, and then I guess we can also maybe like swing back to it and talk about like practical tips for like how to get through it, kind of as we like go into how we do our things and what that means. But yeah, so like, well, actually, should we just start with just like what we do and maybe like speak to our own experience on the benefits that we've had?
Let's start with the benefits, and then if you want to use examples that are yours, fine. If not, we'll just tack that on.
I think they'll kind of blend together a little bit.
So
but yeah, go ahead.
To me, the benefits. Well, I mean, obviously, the obvious benefit is your life being longer. You're just more likely to have a longer, healthier, better life. And again, what do the cynics always say? I knew a marathon runner who died at 45. Well, life sucks too, and it's a crapshoot, right? I can get shot in the head today. Does that mean my marathon running is that? Again, being an adult, you're supposed to put yourself in the best position to succeed. It's supposed to be your job. And, if you're out there making irresponsible decisions, you could snort cocaine every day. It doesn't mean it was smart. You're like, I didn't die. See, no one's going to die from this. It's like, that's not true. You just were lucky or whatever about it. And the same thing with working out. If I die tomorrow of cardiovascular disease, which would be like ironic because I was doing so much cardiovascular work, that's just, hey, I wasn't getting checked up, whatever, genes, it's random, right? I wouldn't feel like guilty, like, oh man, why was I working out for if I was going to die? I would just be like, you know what? I put myself in a good position. That's life, man. So again, don't start looking at it from a negative way. So in a positive way, it benefits your life. It can extend your life. It can make you healthier longer. Whatever you actually really care about, because let's just say you don't care about working out. Whatever you really care about, you have an opportunity to do more of that by doing this. You work out, you can draw more. You work out, you can paint more. You work out, you can play more. Some of my heroes.
Spending time with your family, keeping up with your kids. I know it's something that a lot of not older people, but people that have kids, because you don't need to be old to have kids, speak to like, oh well, they're running around and like I can't really I'm tired.
I always tell Janet here that success is really just about lasting in whatever you're trying to do, and if you do that, you're just going to succeed through process of elimination. Essentially, the people who were better are going to die out. The people who aren't good will quit. And if you just stick around and you're doing good work and you're working hard, it's gonna just show up. Just because it's just so hard to stay doing anything. You can't do that if you're not working out and being healthy. You'll just you'll burn out. You'll get hurt. You'll pass away. So I think about like some of my, especially me being a jazz musician, primarily or predominantly. So many of my heroes are dead because they weren't taking care of their bodies and they were putting poison in there and yeah, they're legends, but. And some people mention
poison,
that they're like,
yes,
they're like, oh, they're legends. Yeah, well, Charlie Parker would have still been a legend. He could still be around. He could have made like 50 more albums, So it's not like the drugs helped him. It's like it actually hurt him. It cut him short. He could have, he could be teaching at like Stanford right now, making big mad money, but instead he's dead because he was doing dumb stuff and not taking care of himself, right? So taking care of yourself, one of the main benefits is you can long term it extends your life, which extends you. Having an opportunity to do the things that you love. The other thing is it obviously can get you to your ideal, your weight or look or style, whatever that means. I don't want to get problematic with it. If you're fine with your body, that's cool. Then just, live longer, But if you want a six pack, you want biceps, you want it to hit a certain way, you want to look a certain way, working out's the way to do it. There's no other way to really do it. You could try
outside
those yo-yo diets, but
or something.
That's not how that works.
It's a lot of money.
So that's another benefit. The other benefit is day to day. You'll feel better. You'll be stronger. You really start to notice it when you are, let's say, are weightlifting, and you take a few days off and your muscles are also able to like repair and rest, you do feel stronger, you do feel bigger, you feel like you can handle anything. I remember when I first started working my retail job back when I was 18, it was so easy to me because I had so much energy because I was still doing long distance running. So they're like, oh, we're on our feet all day working. And I'm like, I mean, because then it was the reverse. It's like, oh, I ran a half marathon last year, so good luck getting me tired just running through these aisles. Like, I can do this all day. And I could, and I had the energy of a jackrabbit, and I never got tired that way. I mean, I may be tired, but it didn't show, because I was able to just keep going. And people were like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, this is, I was like, yeah, this is retail. This physical labor, this is nothing, man. Just because I was just in very, very good shape. While other people were like huffing and puffing, or they were like not able to do that, or wouldn't want to do that and all that stuff. So that's the other thing. It'll make you feel better. You'll be stronger. And then the other thing is your self-esteem, your confidence. You really feel like, I ran the marathon this week, and it was it's one of the biggest accomplishments and the biggest like joyous moment I've had. Probably it ranks up there. That's for other reasons, but it just feels really good to get it done. And in life, especially, me, I'm an artistic person, so nothing's really ever done. As soon as you finish one thing, you shortly celebrate and you're on to the next. So it kind of starts to feel like, there's no end, because there kind of isn't. And part of that's awesome. Part of that's also like, where's the joy? And when you work out,
or the feeling of the completion.
Yeah, exactly. There's no completion. It just kind of keeps going. So when you finish a workout and when you get that done and it's positive, or you finish a run, or you complete a race, or complete a goal that's literally like it's timed and marked and done. Like if your goal's to, I'm gonna bench press 200 pounds, and you literally do it and it's done. Like, you might not get that in your day job because there's no goal. It's just keep climbing the ranks, kid.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh no, your goal was 200 pound bench press, and you did it. And end of story. You're done. You're satisfied. If you want to keep going or doing other things, great. But you've accomplished your goal. And sports and exercise and health kind of gives you those opportunities to get a win, and in a life where maybe you don't get too many of them. So those are some other benefits I can think of.
And not for bad reasons, just because a lot of life doesn't have. There's not a lot of times chapters end in an accomplishment way, So that it kind of opens things up.
And sometimes they do, but you don't feel it. Like, for example, when I graduated, for me, I don't know how it was for you, but for me it was pretty anticlimactic because I was,
I definitely didn't feel good about it.
Because I definitely had it's staged, right? You have a graduation party, and like, you walk it and everything. But the way it happened for me was, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm in my industry. I'm a musician. I play jazz. I teach music and piano and all that. I was already in the city that I lived in, I was already doing the work. So for me, a year before I graduated, like, the joy of graduating was already gone because I was already in my field, making a living off my field. So for me, the only difference was, we're done with school. But I didn't get the, like,
for me, I didn't have feeling, I didn't have a job when I graduated. But I didn't feel any accomplishment from it because, kind of like I mentioned earlier with the whole, like, the difference between, like, training and, like, just doing the thing. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess, and, we're weird, but, like, I probably should, I guess, feel proud of having done the work, but I also don't find, personally,
I'm proud of it, but I didn't get that joyous moment. That's
the thing is, like, I feel good about the work I'm doing, but I don't feel like, it wasn't a big accomplishment or feat. Like, I honestly didn't struggle to graduate either. I think if you, like, maybe had a harder time or something, maybe, or you're, I don't know. I wasn't emotional about it at all. So I think, to your point, I think there are times where sometimes life does give you the opportunity, but you still don't feel it. Because the thing is, you're always looking for the next thing. And, even with the weightlifting example, maybe after the 200, you're looking to go higher, but I feel like there is still that, like, there's something a little bit more satisfying about it, in my opinion, than other things.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Sports are finite like that. Like, for example, if your team wins a championship, you remember that forever. Even though in 3 months we start over with the new season in whatever sport,
there's something
you
weird
still
about
feel
that.
it. You're like, yes, we won. Forever, we're the 2018 champs. This is amazing. Even though 2019 is right around the corner. So
so kind of I guess I'll add a little bit more on the mindset part, because you kind of spoke already to the physical stuff. I don't know if there's any physical stuff that you didn't already speak to. Yeah, it's basically just, being healthy, living longer, and depending on what your goals are.
And then self-esteem, accomplishments.
Depending. So I guess kind of speaking a little bit more on that route.
Opportunities to get wins.
Yeah.
In a world where we get a lot of L/neutrality,
Yeah, I mean, it just feels good to have done it. I honestly don't, I usually don't really have fun when I'm working out. Depending on the class, sometimes I can get into it if I take a class.
Well, class, you haven't mentioned what you do and stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, like, I've done a bunch of different things, and I guess we'll get more into it kind of in the next bit of things, but, I obviously do distance running, but I've also done, like, a bunch of random stuff, yoga, a little bit of weightlifting, but never seriously. I kind of, like, picked it up, took it back down, whatever. I've done classes, like, at the gym before. I no longer have my gym membership, though, so now I'm kind of figuring out what I'm going to do next. I'm actually looking at a place in my neighborhood has classes for $5, which is, like, dirt cheap. And there's, like, different stuff, like dance classes and stuff that I've always wanted to do, like, hip-hop dance lessons, and I think I found a place that could be fun at. So I'm gonna try that out actually this month, and I'm really excited about that because I've been wanting to do that for a long time, but I just had never pulled the trigger. So and I used to take like cycling classes and stuff like that too. But kind of going back to the benefits for a second. Yeah, just that feeling of accomplishment, and also just feeling like good about your body, not necessarily because your body's like looking quote unquote better or like more fit, like more traditionally fit or hitting the beauty standards more or whatever. I mean, that can be part of it too, and if that's what you're going for, I think that's totally fine. I can't pretend that I'm not like, that I don't want abs like I do, like, you know, so I think that's totally fine of a goal to have. But even if you like, because I know plenty of people that, you know, might be heavier set, but they're super fit. Like, you can be really fit and not be like at your what the chart says your weight needs to be and stuff like that. But for me, like, working out, it makes me feel like really powerful. And I take that positive energy and I bring that into the rest of my day. Like, I feel so good to like finish a workout or to like lift something or to just use my body and engage with my body, especially in a world where so much of our stuff is like tech focused, screen focused. Even if you do have a physical job, like, you spend a lot of time just kind of like, I don't know, in like the internet space, in like the virtual space or whatever, and there's not a lot of times that we like go for walks and, you know, put our phones away and things like that. But when I'm working out, like, I'm not on the internet. I'm not doing any of that. Yeah, I know. Right. I don't know if people know that's my like handle on social media or whatever. Maybe because I think it's in the show notes. But anyway, yeah. So I honestly think that, you know, there might be people out there that feel awkward about working out because of how they feel about their body. Like, they don't feel good about their body. They don't want to like be seen like working with their body because they feel uncomfortable with it, which is, you know, an understandable challenge that I think a lot of people face. But for me, like, I've gotten a lot of my own self-esteem from working out, about like how my body looks and how I feel in my body, because I can do something and feel strong. I can work towards whatever my goal is, which for me personally is to build to gain more weight and also build muscle. I guess in terms of how I look is what I would want. But even if I don't hit those goals, because, like, honestly, like, you know, it takes time and there's a lot of factors. So, like, that's the thing. You don't, like, in my opinion, you really shouldn't be working out because you, like, you can't be so focused on the results of it. You have to just, like, commit to the process of it. And in that process, you get, like, a lot of amazing things. Like, honestly, I don't think I will ever really have a six-pack because I'm not really willing to make the diet sacrifices to make that happen. And I honestly often don't really do a lot of exercises that really target that as much. Not that you need to do ab exercises to get a six-pack. It's kind of holistic. But, yeah, so for that reason, I'm like, you know what? I might never get that. But I get so much out of the workout process of just, you know, feeling strong and powerful and good. And, like, I did this thing and I did this with my body. And I'm connecting with my body while I'm working out in a way that you don't normally do in your day-to-day life. And I think that's something really powerful. So, oddly, almost ironically, you know, some people shy away from working out because they don't feel good about their body. But for me, working out is what helped me feel like good about my body and who I am. And I think, you know, if you're feeling that way, there's like so many like amazing people on social media doing awesome things of all different body types. So whoever you like connect with most, like maybe you want to see someone that like looks like you, whether it's build, race, gender, whatever, like you can find them and they're there like being inspiring and being amazing. You know, I have like Women's Health magazine, which I talk about all the time and everyone gets annoyed, but they have like so many cool.
It's not annoying. It's just you read every article. That's the problem.
I don't read every article. It just feels like the Lakers thing kind of. But like there's a lot of different like ways to, and you know, in this episode we're talking about exercise specifically, but there's a lot of different ways to like conceptualize health, and exercise is just one like a really nice touchstone for that. But yeah, I mean that's been a major benefit for me, and I think a lot of people don't really like think about that if they're outside of like the exercise realm, or if they're maybe feeling like insecure or upset, or maybe they have like different people critiquing them or whatever, or they just feel like certain pressures. And I think that's actually the really cool thing about social media is that, you know, people say like the mainstream media imposes these beauty standards and things on us, which is totally true and very valid. But social media, it's like you can make your own media. You know, you can find media that you do want to see and make that your media. Obviously, you can't really like escape still like the universe and the world, but you can kind of start to like flood your own life with that element of it. And I think that's really cool and something that you can turn to be able to get those psychological benefits, but also like the physical benefits of, you know, longevity and living and being healthy.
Yeah, and also kind of a counterpoint to that is, man, at the end of the day, you gotta do it. I personally don't want to hear about, you know, Janet will be empathetic. I'm empathetic about it, but at the end of the day, man, I mean, are you really gonna stop yourself from being healthy because other people are, you think other people are thinking something about you? Now, maybe you've had some scenarios where someone was laughing or something, and that's pretty messed up. I'm not gonna say that's not messed up. But hey, man, screw them. Like, you gotta do your thing, man. Are you gonna die because
and
people
where,
are?
like,
you think people are gonna say something?
Something
next
that
time?
I think is really
you
good
gotta
for
get
that.
past that stuff, and
for,
that's
like,
part of being an adult,
that.
right? Am I not gonna go to a financial advisor because I'm afraid that they'll think I'm broke? Like, it's just like ridiculous. It's like, or you know, I won't go to marriage counseling because what's the counselor gonna think, or what are the people? You gotta get past that stuff. You gotta destigmatize yourself. A lot of that stuff's in your head. You're just holding yourself back with your you know, they'll think this.
Spit on me.
Yeah, man, I'm mad, man. I'm big mad because and then sometimes I think that stuff is actually, you know, the definitely a counterpoint. It's egotistical. It's selfish. It's self-deprecating. It's using excuses for why you don't want to do things. It's putting the onus on society when it's you who are the one holding yourself back.
First of all, you need to dial it back.
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
Sometimes it is that serious because people do this all the time.
Well,
it's
here's
true.
the thing.
Sometimes it's true. Sometimes I think it's a little bit like, you know.
I mean, it like at the end of the day, it still is you. But I think like, and that's kind of like, I guess my kind of issue is like your framing of it, because I think what you really need to think about is like not so much like, because I think people end up getting in this really like negative like loop of just like, you know, I think it's really important to acknowledge your shortcomings and own those and say, okay, and maybe either accept yourself for your shortcomings or change your life, whichever you want to do to make yourself happier and healthier and etc. But too often then people would just get, now they have like the guilt of, and it's just a cycle of like shit. And like, I don't want people to end up in a shit cycle. So I think to address your point, because yes, at the end of the day, it is on you. You need to do it. Is like, for me, that's where like, and that's kind of why I said like maybe social media can like help people out who are facing this, because it's like you got to like develop some type of mantra to like hype yourself up and push through whatever negativity you feel like is holding you back. And how to push through that negativity, whether it's negativity that you get from other people, whether you get it from yourself, whether you know, whether you're perceiving it, making it up, whatever. Like, there needs to be something that that can help you like push through that. And for me, it's always been like just kind of pumping myself full of like self-confidence, whether that's the music I'm listening to, the people I'm looking at, and just being like, yes, I'm dope, I'm awesome. You know, I'm like, it's kind of like I talk to my, you know, friends a good amount about this, who are like, my friends are basically all women, my close friends. And it's like kind of like that bad bitch mentality or whatever of like, oh yeah, like I'm the shit, I'm dope, I'm like, you know, all these things. Even though like, and it's kind of like almost a fake it till you make it type thing, because obviously like for myself personally, there are things that, you know, I don't, I guess, like about my body, or I feel like aren't like super attractive about me as a person or whatever. And I think we all have those, because like who doesn't know their own physical flaws or whatever, you know? But like, it's like, even though I don't, so it's kind of like I like own that idea more than even though it's not necessarily completely holistically true in every element, like I kind of own that idea, and I use that to push through like, you know, doing stuff. And in my head, like when I do a workout, I'm like, yes, I just did that, I just did this set, I just, you know, or I'm lifting stuff and I'm like, you know,
yeah, but people aren't even getting to that point. No, that's the thing, they're not even there. Because
but what I'm saying is you have to like, but you have to think of, you have to get something that will push you through that, because like, kind of, you know, to cycle it back to your thing, yeah, at the end of the day, it is on you, and you need to do it.
We're not talking about people who are, if you're already doing this, then you don't have nothing, you're not really gaining anything from this exact segment right now. It's like, oh, it's fine, you know. Yeah,
I think a lot of people have done it, though. They've done it, but they didn't, like, the thing is, if you're not doing it with the, if you're, like, not pumping through that mindset, you're not going to stick with it, because working out's hard, and, you know, you might leave it feeling less energized, you might leave it feeling frustrated with your own ability. You might leave it like in a lot of ways. Like, I'm not going to say that every workout feels like magic to me, but like being able to remind yourself, why am I doing this, and why is it important, and why do I need to do it? That's going to be like the key that's going to push you through. So, like, to speak to your point of, like, oh, yeah, then you need to do it. Like, yeah, you do need to do it, but, like, you need to think of, so what's your kind of, like, you need to figure out for yourself whether you want it to be health, whatever. Yeah, like, what's the thing that you hold on to?
I'm kind of more just grabbing, like, shake. I'm kind of slapping I'm doing the Godfather, what's the matter with you, you sissy kind of slap, you know, because I'm like, you know what, you know, that's enough of that stuff. If you feel that, I feel you, but that cannot be the reason why you don't do that. You can't say you don't want to go on stage because of stage fright. Bump that. You got to get over it, man. You got a talent, and you said you wanted to be in this. You got to do it, man. Like, I don't know what you got to do. You got to drink some water. You got to talk to someone. You got to put a rock in your shoe so your brain's more, focused on the pain. Then I know a musician did that. They would put a rock in their shoe to play because the pain of the rock in the shoe distracted them from their nervousness. You got to do what you got to do, man. This is your life we're talking about, and you need to be healthy. And right now, you ain't looking all right? So, you need to get it together. So, there you go. You're not working out. You're not doing it 3 times a week. You're not being consistent. You're not investing in yourself. You're not bettering yourself. You need to do it.
Also, that's me right now. I don't work out 3 times a week. I actually don't work out at all, which I guess we'll talk about now.
Yeah, and actually, technically, I don't do it 3 times a week either.
Yeah, you actually don't. Yeah, you don't do. So
but I am going to start doing...
you're bullshit.
No, I'm not bullshit because I'm good with myself.
Well, it's because you ran a marathon. Yeah. You think you're the shit. Like you still don't. But you said it yourself. If it's not 3 times, it doesn't count. Well, have you worked out 3 times over the last 2 years?
Last 2 years, yeah, definitely.
3 times a week?
Yeah, I was working out a lot more than that when I was at the export. What do you do? Especially in the summer. Yeah, we're doing 2 times. And we're going to start doing 3 times a week now, ironically, in the house. So, I think we're going to do the P90X thing. But again, I was doing long distance running, and my thing was to just do that long run.
I was just your cookies.
And I definitely have done that many times when I was going for goals that I needed to do that for. When I was needing.
But you said that you need to be doing it no matter what.
Yes, but I'm already at a level where I don't have to work out that many times. For the goals I wanted.
Well, I think it's a little. I think it's a little bit hypocritical to say you need to work out 3 times a week, no matter what, and then you're like, oh well, not me because I'm doing the thing.
I had a different goal at the time, so I was doing just that one long run a week, prepping for my marathon. I couldn't really do the bench press and stuff, and I didn't want to do shorter runs. And it worked out pretty good with my time and stuff.
The point is too, like for me, like
if you're already constantly, I've shown with my track record through life that I'm consistently working out. I've never let myself go. I'm very healthy. I'm the healthiest person in this room. I've ran the farthest than anyone in this room. I've lifted more than anyone in this room. I've played sports at a competitive level more than anyone in this room.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm the only person in this room. Second of all, I'm 12 pounds, so yeah, you're gonna lift more than me.
So
like, hello.
Technically, yes, I've only done that one, but I'm about to switch to more of a 3 a week.
But I think it's something worth acknowledging, which is kind of like that's why, like, to me and like
FIFA King in this room.
Some people need, like, the kick in the pants thing. I think it's fine for you to offer, but to me,
if someone doesn't need
a lot of people don't need that. They just need to figure out, like, they have their own, like, random stuff they're working through or trying to figure out, or they haven't, like, fully committed to it, and that's like a different thing than, like, not starting or not doing it.
Do you really think we're not gonna look it up now. You think the average person is actually working out?
No, but I think a lot of people, like, they, like, feel like they kind of are, and they have, like, this weird relationship with working out where, like, and, I can speak to that now with myself. Like, for me, it's been very on and off, like, all the time, and, it's a struggle, and I feel like, I guess the thing is, like, I feel like a lot of people already, know they need to work out, or, like, whatever, but it's about, like, getting, like, we need to get, like, down and practical and figure out some things, and for, like, some people, that means, like, doing some type of introspection, if they have, like, some serious, like, I guess, like, psychological roadblocks for working out. And that's why I'm like, me, like, I can't yell at someone into having self-confidence. They're not going to have it. Like, you gotta, it's got to be, like, more practical tips type stuff from that. And that's why, like, for me, that's why I kind of spoke from that perspective, because that's a lot of the stuff I see from, like, other people, like I said, specifically women a lot, where it's just, like, it's not really the excuses, it's, like, this, like, internal thing. And I think internal is still on you at the end of the day, but it's like, well, how do I get out of that? And for a lot of people who don't have that skill set, it's hard to know what to do. So I that's why I kind of want to share my own experience on doing that and what I feel like get out of that and maybe how you can do that. But as far as myself, working out has always been weird. But it's always been something that I've, like, tried to do and have thought of in my life, and I feel good about that aspect, but I do still want to get to, like, kind of like Edwin said, like, the 3 days a week. I think the 3 days a week is my goal, actually, would be, like, my ultimate goal for working out. Like, I would love to just consistently work out 3 days a week. It's just been, like, kind of all over the place. In college, I worked out quite a bit. We had a gym on campus. I would do stuff. I would run. I feel like it was, it probably wasn't that targeted, but it was whatever. It was fine. And then post-college life, I had a gym membership. I would go to the gym, like, It's very inconsistency. Sometimes I would go a lot, then I'd have seasons where I didn't go that much. I've always done distance running though, and I've been doing that pretty consistently since I was like 21, and I'm 24 now. So that's been a big thing for me in my life.
Probably
so
been an
like
anchor, I'd say.
Yeah, I think an anchor is a great way to describe that. And to kind of like zoom out for a second, I think if you're someone that's struggling with working out. That's something to consider, like finding a thing that you like to do or that you're interested in doing that you can kind of tether all your exercise to, because everyone's exercise might look a little different. So for me, like I love running, so I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, like I still have running, and that's kind of what keeps me fit and keeps me motivated. Like I sign up for races, and then I'm like, okay, well I gotta do a 10K in 2 months, so I guess I gotta run now because I want to be ready for the 10K. And
although
that's kind
ideally
of what's
you would
me
just
around.
be
ready.
ready.
Consistently, yeah. But like that's kind of that's what forces me to have consistency.
Yeah, if you need a kick in the pants, that can be a good
thing.
I
don't
too.
like have it on my own, which is why I recommend
unfortunately
the gym.
only racing has that. But
I think the gym has that too. Like you have classes, you're like, well, I do this class and whatever. You can't. I mean, but you can skip anything. That's the thing.
The one thing that would be hard to skip is a league. If you were part of a volleyball team, it's pretty clear when you're not there.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
what a race. I think the only thing
I think races,
compare to that,
and sometimes classes, especially if like the thing is if you already are like doing it.
Unless you already paid for it, I think it's very easy to just be like, I'm just not gonna go to the like. It's not like they know you there. It's an open class.
They might kind of know you. You might casually make friends there, and they might ask about it. You might feel a little bit more obligated.
Yeah, that's true. You mean
you might have a friend that you go with. Like for me, like a huge thing in me working out has been like I work out like a good amount with our roommate / my brother's girlfriend Maggie. Like she's been like a great like workout partner, just because like whenever like both of us might not be necessarily in the mood, but each of us knows the other person knows that it was scheduled. So like we're kind of like, oh, today we're doing this. Like on
good accountability partners in life. That's another podcast, accountability partners.
Yeah, and like I'm
finding
like
one is tricky.
And it's kind of like, well, I made a commitment to myself and my body, but also like me and Maggie said that we were going to like this cycling class every Friday night. And pretty much every Friday night, with a few exceptions, like we would go to that class together, and it was like a thing we did together, and it was like what we did, and there was no question. Mondays we would play Just Dance and then do abs. Before that, we were doing Zumba classes. Like that was what we did. There was no question. It was scheduled out already. I made plans with the other person. Like it's like So even that, because I think I don't even think you necessarily need an accountability partner who's like hardcore. You just need an accountability partner sometimes to make yourself feel guilty enough to follow through with the thing.
I think it's better. I mean, ideally, I think it's better to have a hardcore. It
depends
how you know yourself.
But honestly,
if you know yourself enough to be a flaker, then there's not gonna be any good.
The thing is, like I guess you'll figure it out really soon.
It depends on the person, because some people just flake. They don't care. They'll be like, I'm too stressed, and then.
But not all the time, though. That's the thing. And if they do all the time, then their accountability partner fucking leave them. So then it's like.
So you want? I think ideally you'd want a good accountability partner. It's like, hey man, like we agreed to do this.
But the hard thing about accountability partnership is it's usually mutual. It's rare to have someone that. Well, sometimes you do have this, where it's like the super fit friend and with the non-fit friend. But usually, like with me and Maggie, we're pretty evenly fit and unfit, whatever you want to label it as.
I've had intense accountability partners.
Yeah, I know you've had intense ones, but for me and Maggie, Maggie would never yell at me for not doing. Now, if I flaked on her a lot, she might be like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Well,
but for me, I'm like, I don't want to leave her hanging.
Yeah.
So like my relationship with her, like I think about.
So you have to be honest with yourself as well. Are you a flaker, really? Because if you are, you need a stiffer accountability partner.
But the thing is, if you're a flaker, like you might still feel like you'll feel like the moral imperative to stick around. So I think either way, like you'd be surprised on how little an accountability partner needs to even do sometimes, because just them existing will make you feel like, because you already agreed to the person.
We'll leave it to the comments to decide.
Yeah.
What's the question? Does a good accountability partner really make a factor, or just the fact that they're there makes an impact?
I'm not sure how to frame the question,
okay,
but
so
we'll figure it out.
If you think you need a tougher accountability partner, because a lot of people out here are flaking, I'm with Edwin. And if you think that just having an accountability partner is going to make a positive impact,
can make a positive impact.
Can make a positive impact. I'm with Jen in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and share with a friend. And do that anyway, even if you don't
exactly.
Have a
but yeah. So that's the exercise wise.
Cool.
Just to quickly recap: distance runner, gym sometimes. When I don't do the gym, sometimes at home I'll do like yoga, I'll do YouTube videos, I'll do workout videos, and then sometimes I'll just go for a walk or a run, or even just be like, I'm gonna take a basketball, I'm gonna shoot some hoops, and that'll be my workout for the day.
I mentioned before, I guess today's a little bit of my contradiction day because I wasn't working out more than once a week. Again, I was in a season.
Yeah, Edwin's a fake exercise person. He has the medal around his neck, so you think he's super fit, but really he's out there once a week. That's it. The end.
Okay, I was only out there once a week because I was training for a specific event. Now that I am done with that event, I will be ramping it up. But just like Jenny said, I'm actually technically not going to go to the gym. Now I'm going to stay at home, at least for now. We'll see. I might
cancel
go
our
back.
gym membership.
The reason why I canceled
we have no authority on
the
this
reason
podcast.
I canceled was because of the running. I'm like, well, I'm going to be running outside. The gym can't do anything for me.
I canceled because I'm super broke, so that's why I canceled.
And I just couldn't.
And it was far.
It didn't make any sense for me to just keep it for like 5 months until I was out. I even told Janet, she was still in it. I'm like, well, just stay. I'll come back. I need to finish this marathon. Then I'm back at it. She left already, so we'll see when I come back. I would
love to come back.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to come back anyway because I do have I have some other physical. I want to bulk up a little bit more in the next year or two. But for now, I'm going to just do some kind of cutting, some trimming. There's a couple things in my core I want to work on, so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that with my girlfriend, and it will be about 3 times a week, maybe more, depending on what program we pick.
P90X.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check out some stuff.
I might get in on that.
I'm gonna talk to my friend and see. But again, the general rule for the average person, which is what the podcast is. I don't know the person. If you already know where you're at and you're dope and you can miss a month and still be super fit, then you already know that. You don't need to listen to me. But if you're not, the generic rule is 3 times a week, or you're not gonna do anything. And the gym. Why do I say the gym? It's very, 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 very hard to work out at home. The amount of discipline you need to work out at home is ridiculous. You need to be gorilla. You need to be alpha, omega, A type. If you are not, don't even try it. You ain't gonna do it. You just gonna watch TV. You gonna half-ass the workout and roll the yoga mat, that sad yoga mat back in the corner, and you know it. So that's why I say go to the gym. The gym makes you accountable because the gym puts that pressure. That pressure we were talking about that people don't want because blah, 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 because they look at me. That's what it does. It puts you in the motherfucking den where the motherfucking bad motherfuckers that don't look like you because they've been there for fucking years are, and you gotta show up and you gotta be like, hey, do you know how to use the bench press? Someone else is looking at you while you're doing your set because they next. Let's go. Get the shit done. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah.
So you need to be in that environment because you need to develop those skills and do the work so you can get your goals, so you can do your thing. So generally, yes, I say no working out at home. 3 times a week, go to the gym. Do some arm stuff, do some leg stuff, do some back stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can do 2 days where you're on the weights, another day when you're doing one of those classes you're talking about, things like that. You need to go there. You need to make the investment, especially if you don't know. If you already know and you're like, again, I'm a more developed individual. I've been working out. I've never done the math, so technically I can't say, but pretty much I'm always working out. I was either really hard in the running, I was really hard in the weightlifting.
The weightlifting was really serious.
Then I went really hard on running again, as you can see with the medal. Now I'm gonna go hard on cardio stuff and core training, and then I'm gonna go back to basketball. Like I'm just always doing stuff. So for me, it's way different. I can just turn a switch and say, okay, cool, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. My aerobic development, my physical development, I've never been lazy or stopped working out to some capacity for an extended period of time. Most people, that's not true. They stop after high school, stop after college, and they can go a real big gap where they're like, I don't remember the last time. I can't say that ever. I've always known when that last time was. It was probably last week at the most. So really think about it. I think the gym is super important. If right now you're kind of easing in, you want to, okay, but just really proceed with caution with the home stuff. I don't know anyone who's dope with it who's at home. I mean dope with it, where I'm like, damn, you're good. You're better than me. You're good. I don't know. I only heard of one lady who's a pharmacist who I heard she was like that. She was tight with it like that. I'm not sure because I only met her like 2 times. Other than that, like a person who I admire who doesn't go to the gym, I've never met him. So, and that's no offense to Jan, but I've never met him because it's so hard. It's so hard to get to that level consistently.
Not that you ever admired me, so I was going to expect that anyway.
So hard to get to that physical level consistently at home.
I think too, to be honest, a big reason that people get to the gym, besides what Edwin mentioned, is they have the things you need.
Talk about the ultimate accountability as well. You're just
going
to keep paying for the gym. Life hack, then you just cancel the gym. But it's like you're paying for the gym, and then when you go there, you have to work out. They do have that one crappy old computer that's all nasty that people use to surf the web sometimes. But technically, when you go to the gym, there's nothing else to do but go to the gym.
So other things too with like the gym, I mean they have like, it's also just easier because then you can like do like, you can do weights, you can do classes.
And you talk about taking away from the screen time. Now you're away from home. You're in a whole new environment. You know. Because
like at home, like it just ends up getting like so extra. You gotta have this mat. You gotta move your thing. You live with, especially if you live with other people too. You're in people's spaces. If you're in your room, it feels weird because it's like, this is where I sleep and I'm gonna break something. I really don't like it. I really, really, truly hate working out at home. I know not everyone feels that way, whatever. But yeah, I don't like the energy I have when I'm working out at home because it's pretty whack. I will say, I find it a lot easier if I'm working out with someone. So, you know, for people that live with a roommate and they're like, oh, me and my roommate I can see that being dope. And like, if that's your situation, I think that's probably fine. Like I said, with Maggie, I work out at home a good amount. I'm sure with Edwin and Maggie, when they do their new thing, I might jump in on that.
It's going to be really fun Monday afternoon.
Yeah, so evening. Like, you know, there's definitely there is potential there. But like things that I liked about the gym.
Because it cuts the money and time thing that everyone complains about, right?
So like, hey, sometimes
you're already home and it takes you no time. The problem is, what are the odds that instead of doing whatever you normally do, you're going to flip a switch after work?
I really don't like when there's too much going on in one space. Like, it's kind of like the hippie part of me or whatever. But it's like, oh, you work, you eat, you sleep.
Well, you work at home, so it becomes like the whole thing.
Yeah, but like even if I didn't, like it just, I want different, you do different things in different places. Like, that's the end of that portion, you know? But other stuff too. With the gym, like I really like the energy I feel. I know a lot of people like might look at the gym as something like intimidating and scary, and everyone's judging you and you're judging yourself and all this extra stuff. But like once again, like I think it's really important to like as much as you can like frame it with the positive, like kind of put all that other like negative shit out of your mind. For me, like I remember being at the gym and like I actually, not that I'm watching people work out because that's kind of creepy and weird. Also, I'm just doing my own workout, but it's like, you know. The last time I went to the gym, I really, really loved it because, like, I was doing my workout. I was trying really hard. I felt powerful. I felt good. I'd see someone else. They're working. They're pushing things. And you know, there are, depending on where you live, the time of day you go, whatever, I definitely have gone to the gym and been like, wow, like, that person's super fit or that person's way better than me. Like, I've had those thoughts. I'm not going to lie. But I also see people that, like, no offense to them, but they, you know, they look very normal, right? They're just like any regular person you'd see on the street. And, you know, looking around the gym and seeing everyone work out, something that I feel I actually take a lot of positivity from is being like, yeah, man, we're all here and we're all working on bettering ourselves and we're all like getting fit and we're all taking care of ourselves and we're all here together. I mean, we're not actually together because we're not talking, but like, I think, and it's really important to like shift your framing, you know, especially if you are someone that has like, those psychological barriers I talked about earlier into the positive. Like, how can I take what is making me feel like insecure and shitty about myself and flip it into a positive and look at the good side of it. And for me, the good side of it is that like, oh wow, there's other people here that are like, they have the same goal as me, which is to be healthy. That's like, at the end of the day, people are at the gym to be healthy / look better, I guess, depending on your goal or what you're doing or whatever. But for the most part, you all have like the same holistic goal, which is to get your workout in today, and you're all there and you're doing it and you're achieving it, and that feels good and that's dope. And that's an energy that I don't get in my apartment, basically. But yeah, I guess like, you know, starting to close out because I know we've been going for a bit longer than we normally do.
This podcast was a workout.
Yeah, with practical tip stuff, I would say I 100% am pro gym. Because once again, you get that financial hit, you get like pushed to do it. A lot of times, a lot of you know, gym facilities do have a good. You know, you can maybe like, especially if you you know, we live in Chicago, so like I have friends that like, you know, they work downtown or in like, you know, more like busy neighborhood areas. You can usually like, you know, get off and go to the gym and then come back and, you know, head home or whatever, or in the morning or just any different like variety of that. So usually it's pretty convenient to some degree. At the gym we used to have was 24 hours, so that was like perfect, you know. Right. But yeah, like figuring out like if you don't know what you want to do, you know, like really just like pushing yourself to figure it out. Like experiment, try new things, Google. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of blogs, YouTube videos for like people that hate cardio but want to work out, people that hate weightlifting but want to work out, people that hate working out but want to work out. Like, you know, none of us are alone in this. We've all been experiencing these challenges together or making the same excuses together for all of humanity. So like really just seeking that out and finding out what works for you. And, you know, at the end of the day, even just starting small and doing something that as simple as like, okay, 10 minutes a day, I'm going to do some form of exercise, even if you're not breaking a sweat, just to say like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm committing to it, I'm seeing it through. For me, my next workout goals, like I said, I'm still doing the running stuff. I'm going to start doing, I've always wanted to do like some dance classes, so I'm going to do that with Maggie. Hopefully that goes good. I'm doing a meditation class on Sunday. Just kind of figuring out like what is something that gets you in tune with your body, moving your body and doing that that makes sense for you, and experimenting with different options that you have to do that in a way that's somewhat enjoyable. Because working out's not necessarily fun at all, to be honest, but like finding something that you can tolerate and maybe even enjoy and like is super, super important. So go out, experiment, figure out what the thing is. I'm sure there's something that you'd be down with. Like when I did my cycling class, one thing I really liked was they play like modern music, and I could just cycle my way through like these songs that I like, and that felt really good. So there's got to be something out there for you that you feel somewhat okay with. And at the end of the day, I think it's just really important to figure out what your mantra is, what your North Star is, what your thing is, that you can go back to and be like, okay, this is what's going to push me through the days that I don't feel like going, the days that I don't want to work out, the days that it's a struggle. Like, what's my kind of thing I can think back to get me through those difficult times, so that I can get to my ultimate goal, which is being like a healthy person. Yeah, that's kind of my ending like tips or whatever. I don't know if you have any quick practical tips to share before we close
good.
out.
I mean, I think you kind of wrapped it up pretty well there.
So yeah, so work out. It's important. You guys can live forever.
I don't want to hear it. If you got an excuse, leave a comment below, and I'll treat the shit out of you. All right, there we go.
All right, sounds good. You guys can catch us here in, I guess, 2 weeks from now. We're every other week, bi-monthly podcast or semi-monthly podcast, depending on how nitpicky you are on how definitions of words work.
Twice a month we drop a podcast.
Twice a month we do a podcast. Yes.
We haven't broken that yet, so.
You can catch us on iTunes or on YouTube. It's Two Drink Men across the board. E&J Two Drink Men for social media stuff. And we will see you guys here next time for the next podcast. Bye.
Bye.